Welcome back. 16.8 kilometers to go. We're playing Where's Buwani today. We think he's in a cafe somewhere. 35 seconds is the gap. So it is curtains, I'm afraid, for these guys out front. And I guess Laurens de Plus can say he did the job for Gaviria, Jakobsen and Max Richese. Who do you think their chosen man's going to be for Quick-Step?
Gaviria, I would think so.
You think he's back to form? Let's wait and see. It's a muddy old river here. Not much green and blue about it. 16.4 from home. We're going to be welcoming our entire Eurosport family together, so it's just time for Brian's knackwurst preference. What sauce are you going for, mate? Currywurst or?
I think tomato based.
Really?
Tomato.
That's no good over here. It's got to either be mustard, the old Frankfurter, or indeed the curry sauce, the Berliner. I'm going to go for currywurst tonight. Welcome back, everyone. 16 kilometers to go. The gap has been narrowed, and I think Laurens de Plus getting a free ride here and being a danger man has essentially neutralized the break. As you can see, many teams investing in the approach, and this is a gift, I think, to some of the bigger names now that some of the smaller teams have decided to come and put all hands to the pump. The gap's down to around about 25 seconds, despite the fact that you can't see it upon your screen, but you'll just have to trust us. And as we come to the start-finish line, you'll get a definitive rolling clock, and I think they may well get caught before we actually get there. We live in hope. 6.2 Ks out is where we will cross the start-finish line. We've got about 7 kilometers before we actually join the circuit proper, which is tight around the financial district. And it could be that some come a cropper there. It can get a little bit technical, but at least everyone's going to have a good look at it, Brian.
Yes, indeed. They do 2 laps. They come onto the circuit, and the circuit entrance just over 2 kilometers to the finishing line. And we turn left, and then they see the kilometre to go, and then we got a sweeping left, a sharp right, gets narrow, then another left, and left again in towards the finish. So it's a little bit technical. It was a little bit worse last year in the rain, as anybody will know, in city centres, with it being a bit slippy. But it is very technical. You have to be in the front, and I would expect that you will need a good lead out in this type of finish.
Yeah, as you approach the Flamme Rouge, the corners are left, right, left. There's no joke intended there at all. You go through the Flamme Rouge after the first 2 lefts, but these are, some of them are 90-degree turns to go around to go around the Platz, the Alte Oper, where we're heading for our finish line at the Reuterweg. But you'll see it. Whether these guys are going to get a clear look at the finish line, I think they're going to get caught beforehand, Brian. And this is that ramp that many have been talking about that could be an ambition killer.
Yeah, I think they have to. I think that was the, in the minds of the riders behind it. They have to catch the riders before we enter this circuit, because of its technical nature, especially around the kilometre to go and in towards the finish. Very difficult to close down on that type of circuit. But it looks as if they are going to do it. The bit between the teeth for Quick-Step Floors. Backert is in there for Wanty Group, UAE. A pull there for Ferrari up onto the wheel. So this small incline hurting some of the riders that are riding behind. You can also see the European champion up there, Gaviria, Edward Boasson-Hagen, and I believe Sam Bennett is in this group, just sitting behind Edward Boasson-Hagen.
Fantastic. Well, Sam can go very quickly. It was an early call for us as being perhaps a chosen son. We knew he could get over the inclines, and Sam Bennett is there for Bora Hansgrohe. They've got to catch these guys out front, though. Roberto Ferrari with the guiding man for Alexander Kristoff. Ferrari, former great sprinter himself, had a good winning career. Now a good man in a highly technical approach, and Kristoff will need him to guide him through to the last series of corners. Now don't forget, from about the 1200 mark we take a left, another left, then we take a third indeed before we take a right, and then 2 more lefts before we get to the line. 300 meters out is the final turn. It's a 90-degree, and I suggest if you emerge from that anything less than the top 5, you're going to be in serious trouble.
Yes, indeed. I think you know, obviously over the history of this event, it is shown that in this circuit towards the end that you really have to be in the mix in the top 6. But this group of 8 still hanging on to a very, very slender advantage. 13 kilometres to go, in 5 kilometres time, or just over, we'll hit the, or just under, sorry, we'll hit the finishing circuit. But still, Laurens de Plus sitting on, and he'll be used to help the chase, because they believe in Gaviria. But as we've already mentioned some names, there are some very handy sprinters also in the group behind.
Yep, Alexander Kristoff has got to be still very much amongst the favourites to make this one count. Didn't see Michael Matthews within that group, but Edvald Bosenhagen certainly is. Sam Bennett as well, the Irishman for Bora Hansgrohe. Watch him if he digs in towards the end. He most certainly will, but how effective he'll be after such a long day, we'll wait and see. Gosh, nervous times. These guys, I think they must believe that their card is marked now.
Yes, they're kind of holding on, and this slight incline and the run in towards the finishing line, they are holding on to their advantage of about 30 seconds. It's really kind of hurting the chase behind, but they are holding on. But in the back of their minds, we are getting closer to the finish. They're starting to think about it. Laurens de Plus has been sitting on. He's not going to do anything. What are Bora Hansgrohe thinking? Because they don't have the fastest of finishers in this front group. Bachmann is more a GC contender. Mühlberger is at the back and suffering a little bit. So I think, you know, the tactic may change if it starts to get, you know, holding on to this 25-30 seconds advantage, that maybe Bora Hansgrohe or might think about Sam Bennett for the finish here.
Lambrecht rolls through, swaps with Gogol, I believe it is, but now still within that group, the diminutive Frenchman. 25 seconds they still hold. How long have we been saying that, Brian? It's been less than a minute for much of the day.
It is, and the thing is, you know, Bora Hansgrohe, I've got Sam Bennett here. He could possibly win it, but this is another negative when you look at the World Tour. World Tour points up for grabs today. 2 riders in the top 10 would work well for Bora Hansgrohe with Mühlberger and Bachmann. The chances of winning it from this group, I think, are small. Okay, they've got 2 riders in here, but I think they're small because there are other better riders in here. So if you take out the World Tour points in that scenario, you think about how can I win this race, and I think Bora Hansgrohe, their only chance of winning this race is from Sam Bennett in the sprint behind, because we know he can do it, and it doesn't look as if he's in good enough shape.
Well, he'll have to attack his own teammates who are a little bit further up the road, but no disrespect or disgrace in that. Here we are. This is our diminutive Frenchman, Julien Bernard, is pushing on right now as part of a last ditch, and just bridging over to him. Spilak comes by and has a look and says, come on, get on my wheel, let's break this down a little bit. Still holds 25 seconds. Not sure if I entirely trust it. There you go. As they come down here, this very, very narrow section, thank heaven the cars have respected it. There will be about 2 kilometres before we join the circuit, Brian.
Yeah, 2 riders now trying to kind of push on, one of them being Spilak, but they'll soon be back together. A few tired legs now in this front group. The peloton still chasing them down behind, but we get ever so close to this finishing circuit now, and very difficult to bring riders back on it. Yeah,
Mühlberger, a couple have gone wrong here, just edged out of it, and that's Mühlberger, I believe.
Yeah.
Goodness me, well, that wasn't a good one. In fact, that to me looks like Bernard. I may have miscalled you a little bit a few moments ago. Let's have a look. Just pushed almost the wrong side, and a barrier there as well, so there's going to be no bunny hopping back over that. They had to just stop and get themselves back in. A momentary lapse here. It's tired minds, tired legs.
Exactly, and you know, most riders would have kept going, but because of the barrier between, there was no chance of getting back.
So here we are, the camera's struggling to find pictures for you with 9.8 to go. We're about a kilometre away from joining the circuit finally. And Mühlberger has been disengaged from the trio out front, but he's time trialling his way nicely back in. He's had a good couple of weeks, Manny Buchmann, and indeed he's doing a good job right now. It's Mühlberger that got caught out by the street furniture, but Manny Buchmann back out of the saddle and plonking himself back down into it. As you can see, they take these turns. Now look how focused they are. Gosh, that was a tight one, wasn't it? You don't want to get in the way of Björn Lambrecht, and the cameraman doing a good job of just backing out of that corner to help him through. 9.4 to go, 15 seconds only, virtually nothing, unless that's back to the split and Mühlberger. Well, we're back out and in the open, and finally we're heading towards our circuit, Brian.
Yeah, that was a tricky part of the course there, and a run in towards the finish. Now that we're back in the open, it will help the peloton behind, because they'll be able to see them in these big wide roads now. And I believe that we stay on these wide roads all the way in towards this finishing circuit now. So a depleted group still left in front, unfortunately for a couple of them. They almost went the wrong way in a right-hand turn, but we head towards this financial district now, and we'll do 2 laps of 3.2 kilometres.
Here we are. It is Julien Bernard, indeed, who is here. Nearest to us on the camera, Simon Spilak, who's now just drifting back to the rear of this quartet. Manny Buchmann again doing a supreme job out front yet again. Just drops into second place right now, but Bahrain, I think with Gregor Boller, believe that they've potentially got somebody who could carry this. If this quartet was duking it out at the end, then your money would be on Boller, surely, at a moment such as this, but not discounting the Frenchman Julien Bernard, who could give it a good roll of the dice, but their gap is just too slim, surely. Yeah,
only 15 seconds, and you're right. Boller would be my pick out of these 4 riders. Spilak, he's done a good ride today. He came across from the peloton on the last time up the Mammelshine, and you know, looks good, but unfortunately for them, they're going to cross the finishing line first, but we still have 2 laps to go, and I think they'll be caught now. But as we can see, the run in towards the finish, not so easy.
No, you're on the circuit right now. In fact, you're going to see this sequence of turns that they have to take. I'm waiting for a long camera shot. That's still spare riders who got dropped out of this breakaway. And here we are. The line doth beckon. So this is your approach, your way to the hoarded section. This is a long right-hander after we've come, I believe we've come by the Flamme Rouge already. We haven't seen it, however, but a sequence of 90-degree turns, and at pace, for the last time of asking, they could have a big impact.
Yes, indeed. And these 4 riders of Bernard, Trek, Segafredo, Boller of Bahrain Merida in second place in the gold helmet. Buchmann, who's ridden well today for Bora Hansgrohe, and Spilak just at the back. But as we can see from this camera shot, they've got these 4 riders in sight and picking up the rest of the breakaway one by one.
Yep, indeed. It's just 4 that remain out front. The shadows here long still in what on occasion still feels like winter, but we're well into springtime right now. And there indeed was your Flamme Rouge after the curve that we've just seen. So a sequence of corners. This is a 2-phase left-hander, sort of on a roundabout, Big Island, giving way straight to a right-hander here. This is going to be a nasty one if you get caught out by the elevated paving. So just leaving the parkland behind. 2 more left-handers to take before we get back to the start-finish line, and then do it 2 more times of asking. Here's the first of them right now. So look at what they got to deal with. Uneven surface. They've laid down some temporary asphalt to try and even out what would have been an elevated piece of paving. And another left-hander that they still have to take with 300 meters to go before we get to the line proper. Gosh, well, there are their quarry at the 500 mark. And quick step here with Gaviria. Edvald Bosenhagen still looks reasonably fresh, sitting in as he does. 2 from Bora Hansgrohe as well, including Sam Bennett, who can go extremely quickly when he needs to. That was Poljanski actually, also just protecting his back wheel.
Yeah, this is Yves Lampaert in the front, and just behind you get Gaviria, Christoph, Michael Matthews is there, Edvald Bosenhagen, Sam Bennett. But just looking at the numbers of this group, Yves Lampaert has got a hard job on his own to bring these 4 riders back, and you know, very tricky and technical part of this circuit. They still have 5.5 kilometres to go to the finish, and so many sprinters kind of propped on the front. They know that, they've been told that because of the tricky nature of this finish, but I still think that there's opportunities here for someone else if they've got the legs to try and kind of clip off here when these 4 riders are brought back by Yves Lampaert of Quick Step Floors.
Yeah, all looks very, very breathy back here, and not surprised. It's been a long old distance today of well over 200 kilometres, 212.5 in fact. They've got a 5-second advantage only, and indeed they're going to get caught on one of these big wide approaches. 5.1 kilometres, but no respite, Brian, from the technical nature of the approach. It's a nasty one, isn't it? You really can't stretch your legs yet.
Yeah, it's like you know, you do a big road race and come into this financial district and it's a criterium, but Lampaert just, I don't think he wants to catch them quickly. He just has to make sure he does it, because all the time he's dragging along the other contenders behind, but if he brings them back now with 5 kilometres to go, then where are the other teammates? It doesn't look as if Gaviria's got too many teammates behind to kind of help lead him out. We know he can do it on his own in the past, but perfect opportunity for a counter-attack in this circuit as soon as Lampaert bring these 4 riders back.
I think so, but Gaviria is a technical genius. He can skip his way through, thread his way through. JJ Lobato is also within this group, by the way. 4.2 to go. Matthew's still there, Edvard Bosnhagen still there, and of course Christoph, defending champion. 4 kilometres to go. Nervous times for everybody. We'll be back and crossing the start-finish line in about 800 metres. So this pesky circuit is continuing to gnaw at us, Brian.
Yeah, just looking at the makeup of the group behind, there's no team with numbers, there's no lead-outs, and
Gaviria is the only man who's got that gift, but he is the most technically adept. He's there sitting in 2nd place just for the time being. So how's this one going to pan out? It's a difficult one to call, but Alexander Christoph still looks lively. His team have not done much of the chasing. They lent on Team Sunweb earlier. Michael Matthews did the right thing, backing out of a chase to try and catch the breakaway, and maybe he's put something back in his legs, but at the end of a day such as this, there are quicker men around him. That's the problem. Yeah,
Yves Lampaert is going to make the junction, and the junction has been made. How much has he got left in his legs? Because he's going to have to try and keep this pace up. If I wasn't one of the top sprinters in the group behind, I'd be thinking there's an opportunity here to try and go on their counter-attack at this final lap. It really all depends on Yves Lampaert. What's he got left? Because you look behind and it's sprinter after sprinter after sprinter, and not many teams with sprinters with riders able to help.
There is Christoph, and he's muttering to himself. Well, that can be a good sign. Let's wait and see. Gaviria sits just in front of him, wearing the 41 in the blue and white, but a rack full of other talent here. Manny Buchmann's just been reabsorbed by this group. They're not making a nuisance of themselves, trying to get clear. Buchmann's looking for his teammates, and of course that's Sam Bennett. Could be a very, very big moment for Sam Bennett. Let's wait and see, especially in this company. Michael Matthews just drifts to the right-hand side of the road, trying to look for space, and here it is. They had to come, these counter-attacks.
Counter-attack. You can see Christoph just giving him a wee nudge. Keep the pressure on. Yves Lampaert has already done a big job, and he gave a nudge to Rybashenko to go on the attack, and he duly did, but I don't think he's got the legs to kind of hold off. It's just a situation now. We've got a group in front, all full of sprinters, no real lead-out riders. Yves Lampaert has been leaned on, and opportunities here for some of the riders behind to go on a counter-attack.
Edvard Bosnhagen keeping something back. This is fantastic. Just waiting. Paweł Poljanski is in the mix for Bora as well. They've got numbers here. Bora probably got more teammates than anybody else, and I think that's causing worry. And it's Trek that decide to dig in and have a long ranger here. 2.3 kilometres to go.
Yeah, it is Trek Segafredo on the attack here, and Katusha come round the corner with Spilak yet again. But but it doesn't look as if he's got the legs to put any sort of gap in. 2.1 kilometres to go, still a bunch of sprinters behind without any lead out. It's going to be quite a chaotic sprint in the end.
Yeah, I think Eschborn is going for it again. Just wants bragging rights, I think, by the end of the day. It's not going to be for him. Checking out the line here. UAE Emirates with the red helmets, don't forget. Rather confusingly, no red helmet for Alexander Kristoff. He's all in white, the European champion. Twice a winner here, and he's still just holding something back. Can't quite see him as we look deeper into this group right now. There's Gaviria with his beard in the blue and white, calling for impetus as well. Gaviria wants guiding to the front. Bora still working very hard here at the front. 1400 to go.
Yeah, Poyanski's come up here. They've got Sam Bennett. They're the only team, I think, that have the numbers now. Buchmann has already been in the breakaway of the day, but Poyanski laying it down for Sam Bennett, but Yves Lampaert still there for Gaviria. JJ
Labato of Vini Fantini, don't discount him as well for a cheeky finish. I think Gaviria has got to be amongst the favourites, and here comes Kristoff in the white, just in the shadow, moves up about 4, 5, 6 positions almost in one surge of power, of which he has plenty. He must not be disengaged with the 500-metre mark looming. He needs to be up towards the front. The Belgian champion Ollie Nason making a use of himself as well within this group, wearing the Belgian tricolour, just drifting out, and Kristoff leaning on Edvald Bosenhagen, trying to take him just a little bit wide. All's fair in love, war and sprinting, as they say, and he's put in a cheeky one there. Kristoff can't find the space just for the time being, and Bora digging in with Poljanski, and we've got a flyer going off here. It's Sean Deby wants to make a sting. Can he do? But I think it's Gaviria who's gone with him. Absolutely superb. Deby out front, why not? And what about Gaviria? And indeed, what about Sam Bennett? Can he pick something up out of this one? Wreckage maybe, let's just hope not. Ollie Nason on his wheel, and there's Kristoff again, trying to make himself big, as if he could get any bigger here. 2 from Wanty in the frame, including Andres Pascalon, who's a fast man. Camera struggling to keep up in 500 metres, last couple of curves, and here we go. Gaviria decides to go long. Sam Bennett picks it up as well, goes by Deby. Dan Bennett just to the right-hand side of your picture, and the big figure of Kristoff double checks into the curve, has to do so. Cheeky one up the inside by Nason. Matthews not out of this one yet, just for the time being, and this is Sam Bennett investing. He's going long. Is Sam Bennett going to bring it home? He's grinding into it. The Belgian champions with him, and here comes Matthews in the black and white, goes centre of the road. 2 from Wanty group where also Sam Bennett blows up. Matthews still hasn't finished, but Kristoff's going to get to the line first. Oh, the European champion, 3 in a row. Matthews in second place ahead of the Belgian champion Ollie Nason. Well, a piece of class that was. He managed this race brilliantly throughout the day, kept something in reserve, and he used it to perfection to take it at the line.
3 times in a row now for Kristoff. You can see how much it took out himself. No lead-out rider to kind of really help in the end. He had only Rubashenko, number 6 there, to help him a little bit, but a lot of these sprinters had to do it on their own and had to go for a long way. Gaviria went to go straight on. He went to go straight on past the marshal, completely messed that sprint up whatsoever. It left Sam Bennett in the front. Sam Bennett had to go from long, too long for him, and it was this man here, one of the strongest sprinters, not saying the fastest, one of the strongest sprinters in the peloton, delivers yet again here in Eschborn-Frankfurt.
Good work, Alexander Kristoff, and indeed fine work by his team as well. They managed the situation well. Michael Matthews, I think, would have had the victory had the team not done so much work. And I'm actually wondering about the wisdom of trying to bridge to the breakaway. Matthews, he was lent on out there, and he was just lacking a modest percentage. Kristoff kept that energy well and invested in it. Gaviria, I guess what he can take from this, and this is what his teammates will be saying to him, is that he's back towards form, just at the right time.
He looked good. He got himself in the best place. When Sean Deby went, he jumped in that kind of technical part, but he'd seen the circuit. We'd already said we've seen the circuit, and when we come up to the inside the last kind of 500 metres, he goes to go straight on instead of going left, and then he realised his mistake. He thumped the bars, and then it left Sam Bennett on the front. Sam Bennett, maybe not in top form at the moment, but it left him too long at the front. He started his sprints. He wasn't able to hold on to it, but you know, one of the strongest sprinters, who I've already said, in the peloton is in fact the Norwegian Alexander Kristoff, as soon as he starts powering away, very difficult to get round him. And Michael Matthews, he's on good form. He done a good ride today. Maybe Sunweb kind of messed it up ever so slightly, but strongest man in the end wins.
That's usually the case. Certainly was this time. And Alexander Kristoff, here we are.
He goes to go right. Gaviria goes to go right and then had to check himself. And then from this stage, Sam Bennett with Oliver Nason on the wheel, too far out. He's sitting down, he's not even sprinting, propped on the front. Michael Matthews coming up, Nason goes, Kristoff goes. Very difficult for anybody to catch him, but Michael Matthews tries his hardest, sits down, not enough in the end, and it's Kristoff, Matthews, Nason. But it did look as if Gaviria was thinking about swinging out and turning right, and it upped the deviation.
Well, there you are. Mistakes happen. Sam Bennett just hitting the front. No choice. A bit too early in the circumstance, but beautifully well judged. Credit to Wanty Group as well, who got 2 riders in the top 10 on what was a very busy day. Kristoff will be delighted with that. You could see his lantern jaw was smiling towards the end, but he got his jaw out front, didn't he? And indeed, in the end, it was a handsome margin. All credit to Michael Matthews, whose team, Sunweb, did so much work today, but it didn't pay a dividend for him, I'm afraid. Runner-up to 3 times in a row winner, Alexander Kristoff.
Yeah, Pascalon looked as if he gets up there in 4th, Sean DeBee in 5th place. But yeah, you can see Gaviria still in the background thumping his bars, realised he'd made a massive mistake there.
Crucial time to do it as well, you know, getting misguided, as it were. Nonetheless, nobody else made the mistake, and certainly not Alexander Kristoff, who is champion again. Matthews just open-handed. What have I got to do to beat this guy? Well, there'll be other chances for Michael, who's returned to great form after a collarbone break, of course, not that long ago. So a lot to take from it, and of course a lot to look forward to as well, Brian, as we head towards the Giro d'Italia.
Yes, indeed. Off to Israel for the first 3 days, then a rest day, well, a travelling day.
Here, though, is your results. Kristoff, Matthews, Nason, Pascalon, it was a Wanty Group Gobert getting himself a 4th place out of Sean DeBee, who tried an early one. Boller, with a good effort. Sam Bennett faded to 7th. Ed Valbosenhagen, too tough for him today, I'm afraid. Behind a gap in 8th place. Entertaining race, though, Brian.
It was in the end. It took a while to get going, but yeah, once it got going, it was Schlosshaus.
Let's go and check in to the Schlosshaus. Manny Bookman, focus of attention here.
Ja, wir sind soweit.
Well, Manny Bookman worked very, very hard for Bora. Didn't quite work out for Sam Bennett in the end. But we've had a good day's racing here in the run into Frankfurt. And so pleased that German television have re-engaged with cycling. This was a race that never went away, of course. Here's Kristoff.
Attention on you, but you got it. Alle haben auf ihn aufgepasst. Alle wussten, das ist ein ganz starker Mann. Hat es trotzdem geschafft. Wie hat er das gemacht?
Yeah, I did not really feel strong. Second lap, I was really dropped, and luckily I managed to recover and I got better. So the last 2 times I felt better in the climb and I managed to stay in the group. But yeah, there was a dangerous attack, and we just catch him with a quick step at the end. And then I was a bit lucky. Gaviria got wrong in this last corner, or else he had a small gap. So I think it would be hard to close this one. So yeah, I had a bit luck of my side, and yeah, at the end I managed to take it, so I'm really happy.
Also hat gesagt, hat sich eigentlich gar nicht so gut gefühlt, war ziemlich schlapp und hat in der Schlussphase einfach ein bisschen Glück gehabt, dass seine Konkurrenten sich fürs Falsche entschieden haben. Und damit gebe ich erstmal zurück und Gratulation. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
To which we add our congratulations as well. Alexander Kristoff, he may be a bit prickly with the fans, but he delivers for them on occasion, and this is one of them.
Yeah, it was a big win for him. He was really up for this race. It's one of his favourite races. And in his interview, he said he was almost dropped, but he delivered in the end.
He did. What more can you do? Sign some autographs for the fans, mate. That's what you can do. We've enjoyed it. Hope you have too.